what we believe and what we've kind of focused into our what we call our theory of change is that simple actions done repeatedly in a community are how we change the world, essentially, because for the reasons that you're saying is that the 1% does add up. So we're seeing that, as we head towards 1 billion, and also at the same time, we're building an organization and a movement that can get to the next billion and the next billion. That's meaningful impact in and of itself. And we know that it's only a part of the dynamic that happens when people join 1%. So to what you described, making the public commitment, you do then think, okay, got to make sure I'm consistent with that. And then there's also the, when you come to a 1% event or, just start kind of being part of the community virtually or more directly, you get ideas. Oh, interesting. That company has figured that out as far as their packaging goes, or that's a pretty cool initiative that they're doing in the 1% community. I'd love to learn more about that. And we haven't really talked much about our environmental partners, but they're this amazing community of 5,000 organizations all around the world, and doing incredibly innovative stuff to really address these key issues. So we really believe in this power of simple actions done repeatedly in community, because it does create this incredibly dynamic force where, people do start doing more than just the 1%.
Yeah. And just listening to you talk there as well, Kate, it strikes me that probably what the commitment to give 1% of revenue does, I suspect it drives real commitment, right? Because if we were saying 1% of profit, for example, that could be more of a CSR ticking box, and you can adjust your accounts to make that 1% a little bit less, kind of if you've had a tough year, couldn't you? Whereas it is a much more of a real commitment, as you said earlier, come good or bad years, isn't it? It strikes me that's one of the strengths of it, right?
Yeah, it's a real commitment. And, that means that sometimes we'll talk to a company and they're like, can't do it. But we really do find that, most companies, all of our companies who join and stick with it, just see this incredible power. And one example that I think is always kind of helpful for me, and, it's a great example of how our members create so much inspiration in our community. We have a really amazing member, Maine Beer Company, based here in the US in Maine, as the name suggests. They joined when they were pretty small, and they've grown quite a bit with us. And one of the things that they do is internally, they talk about their success in terms of the amount they are giving. So in terms of their 1%. Instead of, like most companies do, sort of saying, here's our awesome sales number. It's just math. It's just a different way of talking about the same thing, but thinking about it and talking about it differently kind of changes everything. And I think that's the power of the 1% of revenues is like, it's the real math. And if it places some focus, whether or not you take the approach that Maine Beer Company has taken, but in your financials, in your planning, in your strategy, you're going to have to know, follow that 1% through. And that creates some awareness, some commitment to how do we want to align those dollars with what we're trying to do across the company. And that's one of the things we're really intent on, is helping companies to kind of rethink philanthropy from being this end of year. If we have something left over, we'll kind of give it to, a nonprofit that we learn about in the moment. And that's, we have very thoughtful companies. So I'm not saying people aren't thoughtful before they come to us, but it's a spectrum. And many of us do fall into thinking about philanthropy as kind of separate from the other things that we're doing. Whereas what we have learned and what we really, share with our companies is, no, like you get to make philanthropy a key lever in your overall strategy. So if you're trying to address climate change, or if your business is focused on a new product and you're trying to eliminate plastic, you can have your philanthropy be part of that, not just something that's like separate and different. Or it can be something that helps you to tell a different story about what you're doing. Because some companies, that's going to serve them better. It's more about creating connections or creating different stories. So we really love it when, our companies kind of get rolling and really figure out what they're able to do with the 1%. And it just creates this incredible momentum toward integrating it into their overall efforts as a company.
Hey, before you go, let me tell you about something that is brand new and incredibly exciting. It allows you to get leadership coaching and mentoring whenever you need it, no matter where you are. It's called Ben AI. Ben AI is your personal AI-powered leadership coach and mentor. Drawing on my 20 plus years of experience, it provides you with real-time, practical advice for any leadership or management challenge. Be it from managing team dynamics to resolving conflict to planning and prioritization or delegation, Ben AI is there to help. How does it work? Well, you simply head over to the Ben AI URL, type in your question, and you'll immediately get a personalized, actionable piece of advice to help you in that moment. Or if you prefer, you can even call Ben AI and have a conversation with him/me. I know you're going to love it, so do check it out via the link accompanying this episode in the show notes where you can try it for free. That's it for now. I'll see you again soon. Lead on.